Okay. We have a fun video today. At least I hope it's fun. As the title suggests that you guys can see, is Run Collecting Dead, a comic book discussion. So this kind of has been sparked from me watching auctions, me talking to different collectors, and kind of this general consensus amongst them that run collecting is virtually dead. I'm in Facebook groups, I watch auctions, YouTube comments, and pretty much people talk about you have to have the hot keys. You have to have the Disney Plus influenced stuff, or like maybe Donnie Cates throws a character in there or something like that. You have to have these hot books. They were saying back in the day, you had to have X-Men filler, Fantastic Four filler, ASM filler, Avengers filler. You had to have filler stuff because everybody wanted complete collections. Now, I'm also a video game collector, and full runs is very common in the video game community. People want a full run of the original Nintendo or the Super Nintendo, full runs of the Xbox, the OG Xbox or the PS1 or Sega Genesis, what have you. So the people seem to be thinking that mentality is seeping into, or that mentality is being lost on comic books. That mostly now people just want hot keys, and for a long time it was hot Silver Age keys. Now Bronze Age keys are really hot. Even modern day stuff is getting hot. A lot of this is influenced off of Disney Plus, some reader spec, but the movies from one company or another. Valiant had its day in the sun a year ago or so. So I wanted to do this discussion of, is run collecting done, however you want to say it, and kind of open it up to all of you guys, because you guys are going to be in different age groups, different geographical areas. What is your general consensus in your area, amongst your friends, the circles that you walk in, maybe Facebook groups that you're a part of, or auctions you frequent? Does run filler stuff still sell? Now, my opinion is I think run filler stuff will always sell as long as the people who are collecting right now stay collecting, because I do think run collecting is just in our DNA. I don't know if it's a rise of YouTube thing that's causing individual keys to be more popular than runs. I don't know if it's the MCU and other forms of outside influences causing keys to pop. You want to do a YouTube video and you want to have an epic thumbnail and these big keys in your thumbnail. Maybe it's all of that stuff, but is that just a small minority of people who are like, I'm only going to watch epic hauls, but on the side I still collect what I want to collect? I don't know. That's why I want to open it up to everybody. Whether you run your own YouTube channel or you just comment on videos or what have you, you can let me know what you think. So in my personal opinion, a little bit of backstory is I was always a run collector. As long as I have been collecting, there was only 1 year really where I was more of a key collector than a run collector. So I started collecting around 06 or 07. It coincided with the first Ghost Rider movie, and I started collecting the 90s run of Ghost Rider. That was pretty much it. My parents would buy me random lots at flea markets or like almost yard sales and parking lot sales and stuff like that. So I got random books, but for the most part, all I wanted was my 90s Ghost Rider. Eventually, when my dad and mom could find some, they would pick me up some of the 70s Ghost Rider run. But in my mind, I thought, well, that's just unobtainable. I'll never have every 70s Ghost Rider. So I wanted to focus primarily on my 90s. And as a result, I'm missing a few issues here and there, but I have pretty much 1 through 50 for a run that ran for about 94 issues or so. So that's pretty good. And that's kind of how I've always been. When I fell out of comics, I got back involved with the New 52. And again, I was a run collector. I did not even really understand keys at the time. I knew first appearances, but that was pretty much it. And I was thinking only major characters, like, first appearance of Spider-Man or Batman. I was not really thinking of all these random first appearances that are now hot keys. So at this time, I was just kind of buying new books to fill out runs. I wanted a full run of Aquaman and the Others, Batman and Robin, Lobo, Suicide Squad. Can't remember if I was reading anything else at the time. But yeah, I wanted run filler stuff. I was a comic book reader that my collection was so tame I could be a reader and a collector at the same time. I fell out of comics again. But then I got back into comics when I was babysitting my little siblings, and I started watching the Teen Titans anime again. I watched it as a youth. It was very prominent on me. It's one of the biggest reasons Teen Titans is my favorite team ever, pretty much. And when I went back into comics, I wanted the 80s Marv Wolfman and George Perez run. Not so much the 60s and not so much the new Teen Titans or anything after that. I wanted the 80s run. We launched the channel as pretty much me cataloging my hunt for the Teen Titans. Of course, we had other motives such as showing off other great comic book stores around us, and that's one of the biggest reasons the channel got started. But we had an LCS here that had a huge run of the Teen Titans, and even though they were keys, I bought like first Blackfire, first Brother Blood, and some other first appearances of Teen Titans baddies. I was mostly just focused on filling out my run of Teen Titans. And then gradually I got back into Ghost Rider. And with Daredevil, I was always a Daredevil reader, not a huge collector. I bought like his first graphic novel, not his first graphic novel, but that omnibus that's got the first 20 issues. I read those and thought, man, if I could read these in color, this would be great. And I've just always preferred comic book reading and filling my runs. I wasn't really a huge key collector. At this time, we were very much a dollar bin channel. One of our first episodes is called Boldly Stepping Out of the Dollar Bin, where Justin and I bought books for like $5, $10, something like that. There was even a point in time where, Justin wouldn't be quiet about the most he's ever spent on a comic book was like $10. When he bought first appearance of Apocalypse for $20, he was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Who am I? So we were very tame. We prided ourselves kind of on being an everyman channel where, we didn't have massive keys. We didn't have these huge hauls. We went for dollar bin run filler stuff. I was collecting West Coast Avengers because ASM books and whatnot were just too expensive. Batman books, too expensive. But a West Coast Avengers, I could spend $20 and get 20 books. So that was awesome. I mean, sometimes you can even talk them down to $15 for 20 books because you're buying their junk. So I don't know exactly when the transition occurred. I know that one of the craziest things I ever did at the time was buy Teen Titans 2, the first appearance of Deathstroke. As far as my Teen Titans keys go, it's the only book I spent more than $10 on filling out the whole run. Well, that's not true. 2 books. 44, First Appearance of Nightwing, and 2. Those are the only books I spent more than $10 on filling out the run. I got First Terra, First Trigon, First Brother Blood, First Blackfire. I got all those for $10 or under. And that, I guess kind of started it because it was like, oh my gosh, I have First Appearance of Deathstroke, a book I never thought I would own. But cons kind of changed our attitude a little bit because you're surrounded by so many big books. There's big books everywhere you look at it. I remember going to the con, our first ever con was FarleyCon, and I remember saying, I'm going to look for Teen Titans 2, I'm going to look for, the first Nightwing, and that DC presents with them in it. And I found all 3 like immediately, and I was like, oh my gosh, sensory overload, blah, blah, blah. I found Ghost Rider 1, I found Marvel Spotlight 5, all these books that I've always wanted, there they were. And it became like, okay, this is where you go to buy comic books. We really didn't know. Like, okay, there were some mom paws, some flea markets if we got lucky, but these cons were crazy. So that kind of opened our eyes. And last year was probably the first year where I became more of a key collector than a run filler. And I do think part of that has to do with YouTube. When you film these hauls, we always said it's so tough being cheapskates running a YouTube channel where you want to show off cons and YouTube or cons and stores because you want to talk about how awesome the hauls are and how awesome these stores are in their inventory, and you show like $3 bin books. And that was a point of contention, at least for me. I don't know about with Justin and Jessica, but going to these cons and being like, yeah, I spent $10 getting, 10 books or something like that. But then you're talking about how all these vendors had epic collections and nice inventory and all this, and you got $10 bin books. So I would buy books. Probably the first book that I bought, not that I regretted it, but I bought X-Men 266, the first Gambit. It was $20. It was kind of damaged, not perfect shape by any means. But I was like, wow, I can't believe I bought first Gambit for $20. This is going to make an epic haul. And, I want them to do something with the character. I liked the premise of the character. After reading his first appearance, I did not like his vibes at all, though. I got to admit, it's one of the few times where I've had a high expectation of the character, read his book, and was like, not as cool as I wanted him to be. But I think he's cooler in like the cartoons and movies and stuff like that. But his first appearance made him out to be a total creep. Because Storm's like 10 in the book or something. It's super creepy. But from there, I bought first full appearance of Darkseid. Forever People 1. Bought second appearance of Black Panther. First appearance of Nova. And one of the other big factors in this is because I wanted to participate in the community's top 50 keys in your collection. And when I rounded up my books, it was all Teen Titans. It was all Daredevil. It was all Ghost Rider. All my keys came from 4 runs. ASM, Ghost Rider, Teen Titans, and Daredevil. And I was like, that's so lame. This video is literally just going to be those 4 books. So I stepped out and I started buying Justice League keys. I bought first appearance of Nova. I bought just any time I could buy an interesting character that was a key. I was just going for it. And as a result, it did give my collection some nice diversity. But I got away from my initial collecting goals, which was run filling. So this year, through the first, I guess by the time this comes out, it'll be August. So through the first 8 months, I've been only buying run stuff. I've only bought Teen Titans. I've only bought ASM. I've only bought Daredevil. I've only bought Ghost Rider. I've only bought Justice League. Pretty much stuff that I want full runs of is the stuff I'm going for. I'm not going for movie buzz. I'm not going for Disney Plus buzz. Simply put, do I want you in my collection regardless of hype? That's what I've been doing. And quite frankly, I've been loving it. This year is probably the most fun I've had comic book collecting. And that's so tough to say because last year with auctions, cons were shut down. So everybody we knew was running an auction. And I got some amazing books that I still love and cherish. If you have not seen our top 10 comics from 2020, me, Jessica, and Justin all did one. They're all beyond worth to watch if you do like keys. Jessica got Eternals one. She got first Spider-Gwen. Justin got first Carnage. I don't want to spoil his big one because he got his Grail book, if you know anything about Justin. And in mine, I got like first Batman Who Laughs. I got first Mephisto. Seriously, like they're pretty cool if you want to see some of our keys. But I will say that I've been very happy with the way I've been adding comics to my collection. Even when we went on vacation down to St. Augustine, I only bought Daredevil books. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I only bought Daredevil books. And I was able to add 3 or 4 sub 100 Daredevil books. And on these lives, like the Battlegrounds lives, I've added Death of Elektra. I've added First Stick. I added, this isn't out yet, but I got First Mr. Fear. Okay, like, I've been hitting it very hard for Daredevil keys, and I've been picking up some Teen Titans along the way. So, I've been very focused, very linear And it'll be interesting to see when cons occur, because when a live happens and a book comes up, you don't want to impulse buy it because you're like, what if I see something good later? Well, with cons, you can make a lap around, and if you do it quick, you can do it in 10 to 30 minutes, depending on how much you chit-chat and blah, blah, blah. You're talking sensory overload. You're talking you'll see every key you've ever wanted. And what are you going to walk away with? You know, there's books you didn't even think you wanted, and then you're holding it in person. So I guess for me, run collecting is still very much a thing. It's pretty much how I'm trying to exclusively collect. I'm not trying to just buy, oh, this book is rumored to make, this character's rumored to make an appearance, or blah, 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 blah. This book is hyped for one reason or another. I am trying to stick to my books. And I think when you watch the auction hauls, you kind of see that. There's not a whole lot of diversity. I mean, it's a lot of Daredevil. It's a lot of Justice League. It's a lot of Teen Titans. But that's okay, because those are the runs that I want in my collection. So I just want to open this up to you guys. If you stuck through this whole video, awesome. Thank you so much for watching it all the way through. I just wanted to give a little bit of context about me. As where do I fall in line, because depending on the forum, like, is this a live, is this a con, is this just at an LCS, I can kind of fluctuate. I can be a key collector, or I can be a run filler, because sometimes you're going to go and you're going to try to fill out ASM runs, and you're talking $40 a book if it's old enough or in good enough shape. And sometimes you're like, if I'm going to spend $40 on a book, I'm going to go for a key and not just some run filler. But then if you're filling out your run, you're kind of going to want nice high grade copies, and sometimes you're going to have to pay up for that. And I think that was one of my biggest hiccups, is like, yeah, I can buy this non-key run of the mill ASM whatever, and it's going to cost this much money. Or I can go buy a key book in nice high grade. So I guess sometimes it depends on my setting, but I just wanted to cover all our bases. Let me know what you guys think around the country. If you're a comic book collector from around the world, let me know how it is in your country. Wherever you buy comics and talk to and have friends, what are they saying? Are they only interested in keys, or do they run fill, or whatnot? You know, so I've also heard some YouTubers who have felt the need to apologize for their hauls not being epic. And I've seen it in a couple of different YouTube channels. I've commented here and there, you know, saying like, do not let people get you down. You're buying comics that you love as long as you're happy with them, you know, but I guess some YouTubers get it in their head if their haul isn't great enough, people aren't going to watch them, or they have to apologize for not bringing the heat that time. And I don't know. It's very interesting subjects. It's very interesting just to hear people's thoughts. So do be sure, if you're going to comment on one of our videos, that it's this one. Let me know what you guys think about, is run collecting dead? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have an idea for any type of video that you want to see, let me know down below. I'm trying to slow down on auction winnings and new comic days and hauls and stuff like that. So I want to do more of these discussion style videos, maybe review some books. If there's any topics you guys have, just leave it down below, and we may talk about it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. We really love having you guys here. So that's it for me. Have a great day, everybody.